Every instinct screamed at him to turn back. But then he remembered his daughter's face, her bright smile, the new school shoes she needed. He sighed, pushed open the creaky gate, and drove slowly down the winding, unpaved driveway. The flickering light grew stronger, revealing a clearing dominated by an old, decaying farmhouse. Windows like vacant eyes stared out from the crumbling facade. The porch sagged, wood rotting, and a single, bare bulb swung precariously from the ceiling, casting dancing shadows. Mark killed the engine. The silence was deafening, amplifying the churning of crickets and the frantic beating of his heart. He grabbed the thermal bag with the sushi, his hand trembling slightly. He climbed out of the truck, the gravel crunching loudly under his feet. As he approached the porch, the front door creaked open a sliver. A narrow, yellowish eye peered out from the darkness within. Mark swallowed hard. "Food delivery for, Mr. Johnson?" he stammered, his voice unnaturally high. The door opened wider, revealing a gaunt, elderly woman. Her face was a network of deep wrinkles, her hair a tangled mess of gray, and her eyes. Her eyes seemed to hold an ancient, unsettling wisdom, or perhaps something far more sinister. She wore a faded, tattered dress that looked like it hadn't been changed in years. "Took you long enough," she rasped, her voice like dry leaves skittering across pavement. She didn't move, just stood there, blocking the doorway, her gaze fixed on the thermal bag. Mark offered the bag, but she made no move to take it. Instead, she slowly, deliberately extended a bony hand and pointed a long, gnarled finger past him, towards the truck. "Is that a new model?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. Mark frowned, confused. "It's just a standard delivery truck, ma'am." A slow, unsettling smile spread across her face, revealing surprisingly white, perfect teeth. "Oh no," she hissed, a low, guttural sound that sent shivers down Mark's spine. "The one before, it had a different engine. A much louder one." Mark's blood ran cold. "The one before? Was she talking about another delivery driver?" He tried to keep his voice steady. "Ma'am, your sushi, it's getting cold." She ignored him, her gaze still fixed on the truck. He was so polite, that one. Always on time, never late. Her smile widened, and her eyes seemed to gleam in the dim light. But he forgot something, a very important something. Mark felt a sudden, desperate urge to run, to drop the sushi and sprint back to his truck, to slam the door and drive away as fast as he could. But his feet felt rooted to the spot. "He forgot to leave," she whispered, taking a slow, deliberate step towards him. The air grew colder, and Mark could have sworn he heard a faint, metallic clicking sound from inside the house. He felt his voice, straight to his throat. "I need to go, ma'am." He thrust the thermal bag into her outstretched hand, which now seemed surprisingly strong, almost skeletal. As he turned to leave, her voice, now a chillingly sweet sing-song, followed him. "Such a good boy. Always leaving your deliveries, never forgetting. Not like the others."